So the health industry is trying to tell you that you don't know your own body. I'm here to tell you that is the most expensive lie being sold right now. Welcome to the True Wellness Podcast with Dr. Z, where we explore what it takes to live with vitality, balance, and purpose. I am Dr. Z, and each week I will bring you powerful tools, inspiring stories, and expert insights to help you thrive in every area of your life. From health and wellness to mindset and navigating life's challenges, this podcast is your guide to creating a life of true well-being. Be sure to check the show notes and grab your copy of the True Wellness Checklist so you can get started on your journey right away. Now, let's get started. I tell you something I see over and over and over again in my practice. People come in, they're holding their phones, and not for the call that they're about to make, but because they've actually spent the last 3 days down this wellness rabbit hole with some sort of piece of advice or hack or supplement or product that they've been trying to figure out, is this real? Is this not real? It happens all the time. I tell you, day in and day out, I get the messages. and I, one of my responses is, hey, that sounds like a great social media hook. And they need someone to tell them what to do with everything they found on social media. And I get it. I really do, because the world that we live in, there is an abundance of information that's out there and that's available. And I think it's never been harder than before to kind of know, okay, well, what can I trust? Who can I trust? And that's part of the problem that I'm seeing. So this weekend, I gave a keynote speech for an organization to a group of healthcare practitioners where we spoke about, for practitioners, what it means to have integrity in this day and age of all this social media stuff. Because our clients are bombarded day in and day out with all the crazy stuff all over social media. And I want y'all to know that it is, right, the most outrageous hooks that get people's attention. It's the bold claims that get people to share. And what I see happening in the industry as a whole is this slow drift away from integrity and into the space of, okay, what's going to get the kick, the hook, what's going to get the click, what's going to get the share. And herein lies the problem. And I want to tell you that the most powerful health compass that there is for you is something that you already own. It's your body. Your body already knew. It always knows. And by the end of this episode, I want you to feel a lot more confident and trusting in. You see, there's a lot of noise out in the marketplace. We have a real problem. There is not a lack of health information out there. It's that there's too much of it, and we're being bombarded by social media influencers. Yes, a lot of the things that you see, people recommending products and things like that online, are because those people are being paid by those companies to make those recommendations. Okay, so there's a lot of information out there. Not all of that information is authentic information. We've got information being delivered faster than the human nervous system can actually process it. And everything is wrapped up in like this beautiful packaging, maybe there's like before and after pictures, and people are getting really good about sounding like real experts. Everybody is a health expert in the industry, whether they've had 20 years of experience like I do, or they went to a weekend class last weekend and learned something that they are now an expert in. So here's what I want you to understand about the health content that you're seeing online. First of all, the algorithm does not reward what is true. Okay. It rewards what will actually get you to stop scrolling. And what stops scrolling is not nuance. It's not, well, it depends on your body. It's not, oh, well, we really need to look for the underlying root cause. No, what stops the scroll is this changed everything. Doctors don't want you to know this. Lose 30 pounds in 7 days, or my personal favorite, I healed myself of all my ills in 7 days. These kind of hooks are getting the clicks, they're getting the shares, and they get followers. And over time, the people creating health content, even people who have genuinely started out really wanting to help, begin to drift toward the language that performs instead of the language that's true. And I will be so honest and frank with you as a healthcare practitioner. And for me, integrity is one of the most important values that I hold. I won't say things that I don't believe in. I don't do things that I don't believe in. I hold myself to a really high standard, and I expect that, what I'm going to put out there is going to be true. And even I find myself like, okay, what's going to be the hook that actually gets people to listen to this so that they can absorb the important information that I'm about to give them? And so it is a very big problem sure, it's the healthcare industry. I'm sure it's happening in other industries, but we're seeing this drift away from what's true into what's most outrageous, most shocking. What kind of thumbnail picture will drive the greatest traffic? And I'll tell you, so I, as a business owner who runs a practice, as a virtual practice, one of the things that I need to do differently than I ever did before when we had an in-person office was be out there on social media more and more and more, because that's how people get to learn about who I am and what I do. And by the way, be sure that you have subscribed to our YouTube channel, you subscribe to our podcast, because that helps. But you guys, your feed is filled with all of this. Social media knows exactly what emotional buttons to press for you so that it keeps you liking, scrolling, clicking, buying. And at some point, there becomes this line where you can't tell the difference between what is evidence-based and what is evidence line, and what is just a very confident person with a ring light in front of them. What's good marketing? What's a company trying to sell you something versus something that's actually true and real? It's funny, a couple weeks ago, I had a client, they sent me a picture of something they saw on Facebook. And I don't even think they realized that it was actually an advertisement. And you can know that because it says sponsored across the top. And yes, I run ads in my practice. That's part of how we, generate new clients in a world where, I'm no longer having a physical office. I have, 100% virtual clients. There has to be a way to get that awareness out. So anyway, this was a post that was apparently written by a male doctor, and it was about his wife put a little bit of castor oil in her belly button every single night. And by day 10, she was, pooping all her parasites out. Listen, the story in the post was really long. It was really well written. It was really emotional. But I can tell you, after being in this health field for nearly 20 years, you are not going to put castor oil in your belly button and poop parasites out and be done. It does not work that way. There is no quick fix for getting rid of parasites. I can tell you that from that nearly 20 years of experience. But that's what that ad was promoting. And I said to her, I kind of showed her a little bit what to look for in the ad, but I'll tell you, it was funny. So when I clicked on the doctor's name, and you can do this. So like on Facebook, if you're scrolling through, if you click on the person's name, there is a place that says transparency. And if you click on the transparency, it gives you a little bit of the history of that person. It also shows you the ads that they are running. So apparently, this male doctor just 3 weeks earlier was actually a female doctor. So all they did was sort of shift the personality, shift the persona to try to get more clicks, which took you to the website, of course, to buy castor oil in flannel. Now, you guys, I will tell you, by the way, because this castor oil craze on social media is a real thing. But most castor oil is made with toxic solvents. The only castor oil I use in my practice is from Premier Research Labs. In fact, if you need that, I will put a link so you can get the castor oil, because castor oil has many benefits. No, putting in your belly button for 10 days is not going to have you start pooping parasites out. But Premier Research Labs is, a company that has high integrity, that has a pure products, and I highly recommend them. If you use code Dr. Z 15, you'll get 15% off your order. I'll put that in your show notes. But anyhow, you guys, as soon as I clicked on the website for that castor oil company and I went back to my Facebook scroll, I was now bombarded with multiple different ads from multiple different channels, all for the same castor oil pack. Just each ad looked a little bit different. It was literally like every other picture in my scroll. So when I tell you that the algorithm knows you really well, knows exactly what you're looking at, exactly what you paid attention, and they're going to keep giving you more and more of that. So eventually the person who's scrolling that many times now believes they absolutely need this castor oil from this company. Oh my goodness, right? That is the way social media works. That is what's happening, in this day and age. Now, it's crazy. If you see something online that sounds wildly crazy, like the castor oil pack, it probably is, right? It probably is. I had another client this last week who sent me a message. They said, hey, is it true that if I drink lemon water every single morning, it's going to clear everything out of my small intestines? Well, everything is a really big word. And yeah, will it help get your digestive system going? Sure. But is it going to be the end all be all cure to all of your digestive ills? Absolutely not. Is it going to take the place of a clean diet? Is it going to take the place of eliminating foods that you're sensitive to? Absolutely not. So I want you to hold on to that, because your gut reaction to something, right? That flash that kind of says to you, there's something not quite right about this. That's not ignorance, okay? It's not you being closed-minded. It's actually what I call your body-led intelligence. It's telling you exactly what it is designed to do. And the body has a built-in truth detector. Most of us, of course, have been trained to override it. Trained to assume that the person with the credentials or the following or the impressive graphic knows better than we do. And that simply is not the truth. Yeah, sometimes they do, but sometimes, more often than the internet would like you to believe, they don't. So if a claim sounds extreme, that's information. If a protocol sounds like it requires you to, abandon everything that you currently know about how you feel in your body, that's information. If something promises you transformation in a radical timeline that sounds more like a marketing hook than the human body, well, that is information that your body's giving you. Trust that, right? Because it's coming from somewhere real. It's not coming from the algorithm. And the algorithm's going to keep feeding you all of these things. And the more you look at these different kind of things, the more it's going to feed you. And I will tell you, I have clients who are confused about all sorts of things, literally like, learning from social media and then starting to throw darts at the dartboard, trying to hit the bullseye when it comes to their health, and then getting disappointed, right? Getting disappointed. Well, that thing said that if I did it, I would lose 30 pounds in 7 days. We all know that that is not likely to happen. So let me tell you what I watch happen over and over again, right? So it's like this. Someone discovers a new approach to health on social media. Maybe it's a specific way of eating. Maybe it's a supplement protocol. Maybe it's a particular morning routine that someone with millions of followers swears by. And for a moment, or maybe even weeks, right? It works. They feel better. They have more energy. They tell their friends. But here's what nobody posts about. What happens at month 3? What happens at month 6? When that initial buzz begins to wear off and the body starts like communicating with you again, right? When the bloating starts coming back, or the fatigue returns, or something new shows up that the protocol didn't account for. Because this happens all the time. Because I'll tell you, your body is not interested in trends. Okay. Your body is interested in truth, and truth takes longer than a highlight reel, right? Trends, they happen for a moment, but your body is responding to, for a lifetime. Now, let's talk about supplements, because this is big and it's all over social media. And, rightly so. I mean, it sells on social media. So I think this is definitely where the noise in the marketplace is loudest now. And there's an extraordinary amount of money being spent to convince you that you need specific products. And some of those products are generally wonderful. Like, I will tell you, I will never recommend a product that I have not tested, and I test everything. I'll tell you, most of the products in the market are garbage, sheer garbage. So if you have questions about something that you're using, definitely put them in the comments, put them in put them in there, and I will get your questions answered for you. But most of what's on the market is garbage, no matter how much it is marketed. In fact, I'll tell you that there is a company out there that is making millions, hundreds of millions of dollars. The company itself has a valuation over $1 billion. And the product that they sell, when I tested it, it's garbage, right? It doesn't test well. And as a result, I personally would never use it. And I have had companies come to me. I have had practitioners come to me, especially with this podcast. They're like, hey, Dr. Z, I want on your podcast. And then I see that they're from XYZ company. And I'm like, hey, I'm sorry. No, I'm not. This podcast is not here for someone to promote their products. This podcast, I'm not going to bring anyone in that I don't genuinely believe in what they're, the work that they're doing or what they're saying. And there's honestly no way around that for me, because that is a space of integrity. That is a line that I draw. But, there are products out there. They've got beautiful bottles, and their products being promoted on impressive podcasts, right? A lot of these podcasts, like, companies will pay to be on the podcast so that their product can get out there. In fact, this company that I'm telling you is like, hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue. That's how they grew. They didn't necessarily grow because their product is a wonderful product. They grew because they had smart advertising, right? They used podcasts. They used social media influencers. They made things sound very like scientific. These are the scientific ingredient list. This is going to change your life. And meanwhile, if you take a look at the studies that they base their product results on, every single study was actually funded by them. And the studies that were funded by them, there was one that had 9 researchers, and 7 out of those 9 researchers actually worked for the company. And so you're thinking like, oh my God, this product is wonderful. But when you really start to dive in, you realize, there might be something else going on, and it's true, you guys, there are so many supplements out there. There are honestly not as many manufacturers as there are supplements, because a lot of people and famous doctors are not producing or manufacturing their own supplements. They are putting a private label onto those supplements. And so when a manufacturer doesn't, when their main goal is not about quality of a product, they will use different things in their product to make the processing of that product easier. Things like magnesium stearate, microcrystalline cellulose, stearic acid, food dyes, food colors, glues, and binders. Don't ever touch a tablet, you guys. Just leave. I promise you, the tablet is in and of itself toxic. Okay. But these are real issues. These are real problems. I mean, I have gone to big box warehouse stores, and I won't give you names, and they've got, lines of rows of supplements, and they're pretty reasonably priced, but there's not a single supplement in one of those stores that I would actually ever take. Because when you turn the bottle around and you look at the other ingredients, you will see magnesium stearate, microcrystalline cellulose, stearic acid, and I will tell you, in this industry, especially with supplements, the price tag does not always, it's not always an indicator of quality. I was at a very popular conference not too long ago, and there was this booth, and the booth had like a line going through it. I'm like, what are they giving away over there? What is going on? So it turned out that the booth was for the main sponsor of this event, right? And they had beautiful bottles, beautiful bottles. If you read the list of ingredients was pretty good, right? If you get to the other ingredients section, you'll see magnesium stearate, microcrystalline cellulose, stearic acid. By the way, if you're listening to this at home, go to your supplement closet and take a look. Are those in your supplements? Look at the bottom, the other ingredients. If they are, garbage, right? Garbage. If you're not sure what you need or what you should get, but you are needing that, then put a comment in the show, the show comments. I will help you navigate what is the best thing to do next. But so I remember then I asked how much the product was. I mean, all these people were lined up. It was $200 for this bottle of supplements. So essentially, it was like $200 of garbage in this beautiful packaging. So you have to be careful. And I say this to you as someone who has spent years testing products professionally, right? The most expensive things are not always the best things. And some of what's being sold as optimization in the healthcare space is really just beautifully packaged noise. Okay. So, what do I want you to actually do with all of this? Here's my honest answer. I want you to slow down. I want you to get quiet. I want you to be super conscientious about what's in your scroll. And I want you to start paying attention to the one true source of health information that is completely specific to you and has been your entire life and has never once tried to sell you something. Do you know what that is? Your body. Now, I know that sounds really simple, maybe even too simple for a world that keeps offering you and throwing at you more and more sophisticated solutions. But I want to make a case for it, because I think we have genuinely lost the thread of this. And the consequences are absolutely real. Your body should be your first opinion. before you try something new, before you buy the supplement, before you start the new protocol, before you eliminate something, I want you to get in the habit of like checking in with your body first. Not like asking it for permission or not expecting it to have an answer it doesn't have, but just noticing, how does the idea feel in your body right now? Not in your head. I know your head, your head always has stuff going on. You already read 6 different Reddit threads about whatever this thing is, right? I don't want your head. I want your body. Like, how does your body feel when I tell you that you're going to lose 30 pounds in 7 days? Yeah, you're like, what? That doesn't make any sense, right? Your body can feel that. And in your body, is there an opening feeling? Like, does your body go like, wow? Is there a contraction? Is there a kind of quiet knowing that says yes or no? You guys, I'm not telling you to do wishful thinking here. I'm not telling you to do something that's woo woo. I just want you to know that your nervous system, right? Your gut brain connection, your body's accumulated intelligence, all of it is communicating with you in the language that it was designed to use. And we've gotten very good about talking to ourselves and using like just our brain to figure it out. But I want you to start tapping into like, what does your body say about this? Does this really make something, does this really make sense? You know? And when something feels off, and it usually is. If it feels off, it usually is. So I want to say this as clearly as I can because I think it needs to be said out loud. If you try something and something feels off, even if you can't name it, even if the person who recommended it has a beautiful before and after, or they have 3 letters after their name, that something that feels off is typically real. You see, your body is not confused. Your body is not wrong. Your body is always talking to you. I mean, I have had clients who apologize to me for trusting their instincts, right? They say something like, I know this probably sounds silly, but something about that just didn't sit right with me. And I want to shake them by the shoulders and be like, hey, that's not silly at all. That is the most clinically valuable thing that you have told me because your body has a knowing, right? Now, it's not infallible, of course, but it is more accurate than any, algorithm of things that social media is throwing at you. And learning to hear it and trust it is one of the most powerful things that you can actually do for your health. So I want to give you in today's podcast a framework for this noise. And please, you guys, we try to cut through the noise with the True Wellness Framework and provide you like real people who are promoting real things, ideas, thoughts, who are leading the way. So make sure that you subscribe to this podcast. If you're watching us on YouTube, make sure you hit subscribe to our YouTube. Make sure you like our posts. If you do that, then I don't have to give you crazy, outrageous hooks, which I don't like doing. But here's what I want you to do. So here are 3 questions I want you to carry with you every day. So the next time you're like scrolling through health content and something grabs you before you screenshot it, right? Before you add it to your cart, before you forward it to your group chat, I want you to ask 3 things, okay? 3 questions. Number 1, does this claim require me to distrust my body? Does this claim require me to distrust my own body? Any health approach that leads with your body is lying to you, your body is broken. Your body needs to be overridden or your body needs to be outsmarted. Pause, man, just pause and pay attention. I'll tell you, I've coined the phrase body led, right? Body led movement, body led practitioners. So a body led approach to health does not start from the premise that you are broken. It starts from the premise that your body is intelligent and that our job is to support it, not circumvent it at all. So that's question number one. Does this claim require me to distrust my own body? If it does, run next, right? Number two, does this does this promise a transformation in a timeline that doesn't match how my biology actually works? Okay. So, yes, the human body is extremely capable. The human body can heal. I see it every day in my practice. The human body can adapt, it can restore, but it does this on its own timeline, not a marketing timeline. Real change, the kind that actually holds, it happens over months or even years. So, no, putting castor oil inside your belly button in 10 days is not going to have you pooping out worms. It just doesn't work that way, you guys. Okay. When something promises really dramatic results in a dramatic hurry, your skepticism flag should start going off. Okay. And that's not permission, you guys. That's your biology. It's telling you, hey, something's wrong. So look out for those radical claims because they're happening all the time. And then the third question that I want you to also be aware of is, who profits if I believe this? Now, I'm not asking you to be cynical about everyone who sells something. I mean, my gosh, no, like I have to bring clients into my practice if I want to continue to change and influence the world. So that's not it, right? Good practitioners sell things, good products exist. But it is completely reasonable, actually wise to ask who benefits from you believing a particular health claim. And that question alone will help you sort out the signal of noise much faster than any amount of research. So really pay attention to that. I have seen big time social media influencers, popular doctors in the health and wellness space literally promoting garbage. And it breaks my heart. And believe me, I am on a mission. I spent my the keynote speech that I gave this week was really about, hey, practitioners, we need to be out there leading from an integrity, a genuine integrity standpoint, not getting swept into this nonsense with influencers and algorithms, but really standing true. Because I really believe that we see this crazy swing where everybody's paying attention to these outrageous things. And I think we're going to full center, where at some point, the people who are leading with genuine integrity, the people who are out there standing from a real place of having tested a product that they promote, right? Using it themselves, or actually living the life that they're out there promoting. I think those are the people in the future that are going to be leading the way. But that's not what's happening right now. So you must begin to use your discernment to really make sure that, is this true? What does my body say? And how does my body feel about it? So here's what I want to leave you with. The world right now is very loud about health. And it's louder than it has ever been. And you, by virtue of the fact that you're listening to the True Wellness podcast with me, Dr. Z, that means that you are probably being bombarded by social media already with all of these health related things, because it's in alignment with what they see. I'm using that word. They see you looking at, they see what stops your scroll, they see what you're paying attention to. And there is a lot of that noise out there. And a lot of that noise, like, okay, maybe some of the things are genuinely trying to help you. They are coming from a place of integrity. Now, I've got so many friends and colleagues that are simply amazing. But I also know that there is a lot out there who are trying to sell you something, or they're just trying to stay relevant. They're trying to get the clicks. They're trying to get the likes. They're trying to get the shares, or they're trying to get, be the most interesting voice in a crowded room. And so they say whatever it is that it takes to say that. So I'll tell you, you discern with your body. Your body doesn't try to do any of these things. So your body is always trying to communicate with you honestly, directly, without a marketing budget. So every time, slow down enough to actually listen to your body. Every time you feel that quiet internal yes or no, or you choose to honor it instead of overriding it, it's then that you're practicing something that is genuinely countercultural right now. I have a joke. It's like, if everybody is running, to the right, you better bet I'm going to start running to the left, because we ought to be concerned if everybody's running in that direction. So I invite you to choose to be led by what is true instead of what is trending. You got to be careful. Just because you see the same thing over and over in your social media feed doesn't make it true. It just means that you looked at something, and now social media is so smart, it's going to send you more of that something that you looked at. And this is not a small thing, you guys. In the world that we are living in, to really tune in and pay attention and question, it's like a radical act. In the social media scroll, it's going to keep scrolling. The next miracle protocol is already being filmed right now by somewhere. The next beautifully packaged supplement, right? A $200 garbage was what I call the other one. The next beautifully packaged supplement it's already in production somewhere. It's already being put on a shelf. They're already looking for influencers to promote it all over podcasts and social media. But your body, your actual, specific, extraordinary body is still here. It's still talking to you. It's still knowing. Listen to it. Listen to it. It knew that, it knows before the trend, and it was going to know long after that trend is gone. And your body has always been on your side from the very beginning. So tune in. The scroll is designed literally to have you tune out. I'm inviting you to tune in. And please comment. I want to hear your thoughts on this. This has become a very passionate topic of mine, and I want to have that conversation. So be sure to put a comment in wherever you're watching this or listening to, put a comment in there. I really want to hear from you. All right, everyone, that's this week's episode of the True Wellness Podcast with Dr. Z. This is Dr. Z reminding you to tune into your body, connect with what matters, and embrace your journey to true wellness. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share this with someone who's ready to redefine their health. Be sure to grab a copy of the True Wellness Checklist right in the show notes. Let's keep redefining wellness and empowering change together. See you for the next episode.